Hello, English learners. Welcome back to Talk English Now. I'm Sarah, and today we're going to work together on improving your advanced English speaking and listening skills so you can express your thoughts clearly, confidently, and naturally in real conversations. Before starting, I just want to let you know that we upload daily English learning videos every single day, so make sure you subscribe so you never miss your practice. Today's session is all about using English in a real, flowing, active way, not just learning techniques, but actually practicing the kind of English you need when you speak to people, when you listen to people, and when you respond with calm, quick, and natural expressions. I want this lesson to feel like you and I are sitting together and practicing step by step. So relax, breathe, and let the language come to you slowly and calmly. Let's begin by warming up your brain with simple, natural thoughts. When you're practicing advanced English, the key is not big vocabulary or complicated grammar. It's clarity, confidence, and the ability to keep your ideas moving. So imagine you're talking to someone about your day. Start with a simple thought like, I had a busy morning, and let the sentence breathe. Then add a natural follow-up like, but I managed everything well. These small steps help your speaking become smoother and more flexible. Now let's practice together. Think of something that happened today. It doesn't need to be dramatic. Even something simple is perfect. Maybe you drank your morning tea or coffee. Maybe you had a long commute. Maybe you had a conversation at work. Whatever comes to your mind, shape it into a calm, natural English line. Something like, I started my day with a quiet moment. Or, I spent a few minutes thinking about my plans. Or, I took a deep breath before getting into my routine. Say it softly, without pressure, without worrying about being perfect. Good. Now let's build a little more complexity into your practice. Advanced English isn't about speaking fast, it's about speaking with intention. So I want you to practice expanding your ideas. For example, if you say, I had a quiet morning, add a reason. Because I wanted to start my day peacefully, or because I needed a slow beginning to stay focused. When you expand your thoughts naturally like this, you train your brain to produce English spontaneously. Now let's practice listening skills. I'm going to speak a few sentences slowly. Your job is to listen, absorb the flow, and then repeat them in your own rhythm. Not too fast, not too slow, just in your natural voice. Here we go. Sometimes the best way to improve your English is simply to relax into the language. Pause for a moment, feel the rhythm, and now repeat it. Next sentence. When you stop worrying about being perfect, your English becomes more confident and more expressive. Pause, then repeat. Let the meaning settle in your mind. Another one. Every conversation is a chance to grow, even if it feels small. And again, repeat it with your own calm tone. You see, advanced English is not only vocabulary, it's emotional control, tone control, and confidence control. You're doing beautifully so far. Now let's shift to spontaneous speaking. I'll guide you with small prompts, and you try to speak a full natural sentence. Ready? Here's the first prompt. Something surprising that happened recently. Take the idea. Shape it into a sentence. For example, you might say, Something surprising that happened recently was a friend calling me after a long time, or maybe something completely different. The important thing is that you allow your mind to create language without thinking in your first language. Here's another prompt. A small challenge you face today. Think of something, maybe a task, a moment, or a feeling, and put it into English. Something like, a small challenge I faced today was staying focused during a long task. Let the words come to you naturally. If your mind hesitates, take a slow breath. You're not being tested. You're practicing. Now let's practice a more advanced structure, expressing a thought, then adding a reflection. This is what fluent speakers do naturally. For example, I tried something new today, and it made me realize how important it is to step out of my comfort zone. Let's try one together. Think of a situation you had recently. Say it in one short sentence, then follow it with a quiet reflection. Something like, I walked a little longer than usual, and I noticed how refreshing it felt. Or I spoke to someone new, and it reminded me that confidence grows with practice. Practice this flow, idea plus reflection. It may feel simple, but it builds advanced fluency. Now let's train your listening again. I'll speak a few longer sentences. Your task is to listen carefully, understand the meaning, and feel the rhythm. You don't need to repeat out loud if you don't want to, but repeating is great practice if you can. Here's the first one. The more you expose yourself to natural English, the more comfortable your mind becomes with understanding different tones, different speeds, and different styles of communication. Take a moment. Breathe. Then repeat if you can. Next one. When you practice speaking regularly, even for just a few minutes, you start noticing small improvements in how easily ideas come out of your mouth. And another. Confidence in English grows slowly through repetition, patience, and gentle self-encouragement. Let these ideas settle in your mind. This is how advanced learners train their listening and emotional connection to language. Now let's shift to expressing opinions. This is very important for upper intermediate and advanced speakers because opinions show clarity and personality. I'll give you a simple opinion and you try giving your own. For example, I believe daily practice is more effective than long, irregular study sessions. Now you try. Start with, I believe, or I feel that, or, in my opinion. Take a moment. Speak naturally. Good. Now another one. In my opinion, learning a language should feel enjoyable rather than stressful. Now create your own opinion, even if it's small, maybe about learning, maybe about life, maybe about something that happened today. The goal is not perfection, but expression. Let's continue building fluency with deeper thoughts. Advanced English often includes emotional ideas. So let's try expressing how you feel about your learning journey. Think about your progress, your challenges, your small victories, and try a line like, I know I still have a lot to learn, but I'm proud of how far I've come. Or, sometimes I doubt myself, but I keep going because I want to speak confidently. Emotional expression is a sign of strong English development. Take a moment now. Think of how you truly feel about your English right now, and put it into one calm, honest sentence. Let it be simple, true, and gentle. You're doing great. Let's keep going slowly and naturally. Let's continue from where we left off. And now we're going to take your English a little deeper, a little more expressive, and a little more comfortable. Remember, this lesson is not about sounding perfect. It's about sounding natural, relaxed, and confident in your own voice. That's how advanced English communication grows over time. Now imagine you're having a conversation with someone who genuinely wants to understand you. Picture the moment. You're talking calmly. You're not rushing. You're not trying to impress anyone. You're just being yourself. This mindset helps you speak more clearly, more naturally, and with more emotional connection. So take a breath, settle into the moment, and let the language come from a place of calm awareness. Let's explore another type of advanced practice, expressing subtle feelings. Sometimes you might want to say something soft, gentle, or thoughtful. For example, you could say, "I've been feeling more motivated lately," or "I've been thinking a lot about my goals." These sentences help you connect emotionally to the listener, and they make your English deeper and more meaningful. Now try adding a short explanation after your feeling. Something simple like, "Because I've been practicing regularly," or "Because I'm starting to understand myself more." Clearly, when you combine a feeling with a reason, your English becomes more complete, more real, more human. Here's a small practice moment for you. Think of a feeling you had today, maybe a good one, maybe a difficult one, and put it into English. Something like, "I felt a little overwhelmed earlier," or "I felt peaceful this morning," or "I felt proud of myself for staying consistent." Once you say it, try adding a second sentence that gives more detail, something like, "And I reminded myself to stay patient," or "And I enjoyed the quiet moment before the day began." Let the sentences flow gently. Now let's train listening again, this time with slightly longer, more natural patterns. Listen to this sentence. "Sometimes when we push ourselves too much, we forget that learning is a long journey, not a quick race." Take a moment, breathe, and repeat it if you can. Now another one. "The more you pay attention to the small improvements in your English, the more encouraged you become to continue practicing." And one more. "Even advanced learners need gentle reminders that progress comes slowly, and every step deserves appreciation." Notice the rhythm, the emotion, the gentle pace. These are the rhythms that advanced speakers use without even thinking. Now let's shift into opinion-based practice again, but with a slightly deeper tone. I'll give you a thought, and you shape your own version after hearing mine. Here's the first one. "I think the most powerful thing a language learner can do is stay curious." Now you try, start with "I think," or "I personally believe," and speak about something related to your learning or your life. It can be simple, honest, and natural. Here's another one. "I believe mistakes are not failures. They are signs that we're trying." Now, create your own belief statement, maybe about learning, or about confidence, or about communication. Let your own values guide your words. Now let's move into storytelling. Storytelling is a major part of advanced speaking because it requires structure, flow, and emotional control. Don't worry, we'll keep it simple. I'll start a short story, and you will imagine how you would continue it if you were speaking. Here's the beginning. This morning I woke up feeling a little tired, but I told myself to take the day slowly. Now imagine how you could continue. Something like, I made myself a warm drink and sat for a moment to think. Or, I reminded myself of the tasks I needed to finish. Or, I tried to focus on one thing at a time so I wouldn't feel stressed. Whatever direction you choose is perfect. This is how you build storytelling confidence. Let's practice another type of story. This time, start with a small, unexpected moment. For example, yesterday, something small surprised me. Now continue with a natural detail. Maybe someone smiled at you. Maybe you got some good news. Maybe you noticed something interesting around you. Then end the mini story with a feeling or reflection. Something like, it reminded me that life has gentle surprises, or it made me feel grateful for the little moments. This type of storytelling shows strong emotional awareness and fluency. Now let's switch to describing thoughts. Advanced English often includes thinking-based sentences, like, I've been thinking about my goals lately, or I've been considering making some changes in my routine, or I've been wondering how I can improve my habits. These sentences help you express deeper mental activity, and they sound very natural in advanced conversation. Try practicing with me. Start a sentence with, I've been thinking, and finish it with something true about you. Then try one with, I've been wondering, then one with, I've noticed. These patterns are extremely helpful for speaking with confidence and clarity. Now we're going to do a guided speaking exercise. This is where you pretend you're speaking to someone who understands you well, someone you feel comfortable with. I'm going to give you a topic, and you create your own natural paragraph in your mind, or out loud if you can. The topic is, a lesson you learned recently. Think about something simple, maybe about time management, or relationships, or patience, or motivation. Then shape it into a few calm sentences. Something like, a lesson I learned recently is that I need to take breaks. Or, a lesson I learned is that I should trust myself more. Or, a lesson I learned is that I don't need to rush everything. Let the ideas come slowly. Now let's switch into gentle humor. Humor also helps advanced learners sound more natural. You don't need to be a comedian, just use small moments of lightness. For example, sometimes I try to be productive, but then I remember that my bed is very comfortable. Or, I told myself I would go to sleep early last night, but I lied to myself again. Small, soft humor makes your English feel more human. Try a gentle, humorous line of your own. Something small, something at your level. Even something like, I tried to be serious today, but my brain had other plans, is perfectly fine. Humor helps you relax into the language. Now let's sharpen your listening one more time with sentences that sound like real conversations. Listen to this. I've been trying to organize my days better, but sometimes everything happens at once. Take a moment, then repeat it softly. Next one. I'm learning to say no to things that drain my energy. Pause. Repeat. Another. I feel more confident when I speak slowly and clearly. Repeat. These are the kinds of lines that help you understand natural rhythm. Before we continue, this is a good moment to gently remind you, if you're enjoying this lesson, Please give it a like and subscribe to our channel for more daily English practice. Thank you. It truly supports the work we do. Let's continue with even deeper practice. You're doing amazing so far. Let's continue building your advanced English in a calm and steady rhythm. You've done so well so far, and now we're going to soften the practice even more so you can feel the language flowing from thought to speech without pressure. Remember, the goal here is not speed, it's comfort, clarity, and emotional expression. That's what makes a speaker truly advanced. Let's start with something simple yet powerful, describing your inner world. Advanced English often includes subtle thoughts, quiet reflections, and small emotional shifts. For example, I'm trying to stay more present in my daily life, or I've noticed that I'm becoming more patient with myself. These are calm, reflective sentences that help you speak English with depth. Try one now. Think of something you've been feeling in the background of your mind. Maybe motivation, maybe stress, maybe excitement. Put it into a soft sentence. Let it sound natural, personal, honest. Now add one detail to expand it. For example, because I want to improve my balance, or because I'm learning to prioritize what matters, or because I know small habits can change everything. When you add these simple expansions, your English becomes richer and more controlled. This is how advanced learners move from short answers to meaningful conversation. Let's move into a new listening practice. I'll say a sentence with natural rhythm, and you absorb the tone, the flow, and the clarity. Here's the first one. Lately, I've been trying to take better care of my mental space because I realized how much it affects my energy. Let that settle. Now repeat it in your own soft voice. Here's another one. I've learned that even a few minutes of stillness can change the direction of my whole day. And another. Sometimes progress feels slow, but when I look back, I can see how much I've grown. These lines help you tune your ear to advanced, emotional, expressive English. Now let's switch to conversational style practice. Imagine someone asks you a deeper question, like, "How have you been feeling recently?" This is a chance to practice giving a flowing, natural answer instead of a short one. You might say, "I've been feeling a little tired, but I'm finding ways to stay motivated," or "I've been calmer lately because I'm managing my time better," or "I've been focused on improving my habits." These responses show maturity and fluency. At the same time, try answering that question now. How have you been feeling recently? Think of your honest answer. Shape it into a gentle English sentence. Let it feel real. And add one more sentence that gives context or emotion. Advanced speakers don't just give facts, they add depth. Now let's move into describing experiences. Describing experiences is an essential advanced skill because it requires you to connect actions, emotions, and reflections. For example, I had a long conversation with a friend, and it made me realize how important good communication is. Or, I took a short walk today and it helped me clear my mind. These sentences are simple but deeply expressive. Let's practice. Think of something small you did today. Maybe a moment when you paused, or a moment when something caught your attention. Shape it into a sentence, like, I spent a few minutes enjoying the quiet, or I noticed the weather was calming today. Then add a follow-up thought, maybe a feeling or a realization. This makes your English sound complete and natural. Now let's strengthen your listening with slightly more complex sentences. Listen to this one. I'm learning that the way I speak to myself has a big impact on my confidence, especially when I'm practicing English. Let that sink in. Then repeat. Here's another. The more I trust my instinct when forming sentences, the more natural my English becomes. And one more. Sometimes I worry about making mistakes, but I remind myself that mistakes are proof that I'm learning. These kinds of sentences appear often in advanced conversations. Let's shift to reactions. Advanced English includes reacting naturally to situations. For example, that sounds interesting, or I didn't expect that, or I can understand why you felt that way. These soft, supportive reactions show deep listening skills. And advanced communication isn't only about speaking, it's about showing understanding. Try saying a few reactions now. Think of a moment someone told you something surprising. Maybe say, "Wow, I didn't see that coming." Or think of a moment someone shared something emotional. You might say, "I understand why that was difficult." Practicing reactions helps you respond smoothly in real conversations. Now, let's practice a gentle guided monologue. Think of a topic like something I've been working on lately. Begin with a simple sentence. I've been working on organizing my life better. Then add a why, because I want to feel more in control. Then add a feeling, and it's slowly helping me feel calmer. This structure is simple but powerful for advanced fluency. Let's push the practice a little more. This time, imagine you're responding to a deeper question like, what motivates you to keep learning English? You could answer with something like, I keep learning English because I love the feeling of expressing myself clearly. Or, I keep learning because I want to connect with more people. Or, I keep learning because it helps me grow. Now try creating your own answer. Let it feel personal, relaxed, expressive. Now let's explore mental imagery. This technique helps advanced learners speak more naturally. Imagine you're walking through your day in slow motion. You wake up, you stretch, you take a breath, you move gently into your morning. Describe one moment in English. Something like, I opened my window this morning and felt the cool air, or I made myself a warm drink and enjoyed the quiet, or I took a moment to appreciate the sunlight. These descriptive sentences help you grow your fluency in a calm, effortless way. Let's try a micro-storytelling exercise. Imagine you're telling me about a small moment from your past week. It doesn't need to be dramatic. Maybe something peaceful. Like, I found a few minutes to sit by myself, and it felt refreshing. Then add a reflection. It reminded me that I need more quiet moments. This balance of action and reflection is a hallmark of advanced speech. Now let's refine your listening again. Here's a natural conversational sentence. I try to slow down during conversations so I can truly understand what people mean, not just what they say. Listen to the structure. Pause. Repeat. And another. I've learned that when I stop rushing, my English becomes clearer and more natural. Repeat it. And another. Being present helps me speak with more confidence because I'm focused on the moment. These lines help your ears stay sensitive to natural English flow. Let's do a new intensity building exercise. This one strengthens your ability to speak spontaneously. I'll give you a small theme and you create 2 or 3 sentences in your mind. The theme is, what I want to improve in myself. You might say something like, I want to become more patient, or I want to stop overthinking, or I want to trust my choices more. Then add a reflection, because it helps me feel lighter, or because it will help me grow. Let the thoughts come naturally. You're doing really well. Your fluency is building with every moment we practice together, and we're going to continue deepening this flow in the next part. Let's keep moving forward with the same calm, steady rhythm we've built so far. You're doing an amazing job, and now we're going to deepen your speaking and listening skills by exploring more natural, real-life English patterns. Remember, advanced English isn't about big words or complicated grammar. It's about expressing yourself with confidence, clarity, and emotional ease. So take a slow breath, relax your shoulders, and let the language flow through you naturally. Let's begin with a gentle reflection exercise. Think about the last few days. Think about a moment that stood out to you. It could be something small, something quiet, something ordinary. For example, you might say, I had a moment this week where I felt really peaceful, or I noticed something that made me smile, or I finally understood something I've been struggling with. These simple reflections help you open up your English in a natural, conversational way. Now add a second sentence that explains the impact of that moment. Something like, and it made me feel more grateful, or, and it reminded me that small things matter, or, and it helped me stay positive throughout the day. When you add emotional layers to your sentences, your English becomes richer, deeper, and more expressive. Let's shift into a listening exercise. I'll say a few natural lines, and I want you to listen for tone, rhythm, and emotional meaning. Here's the first one. I've realized that the way I talk to myself has a huge effect on my confidence. Let that settle. Maybe repeat it softly. Here's another. I try to approach each day with an open mind, even when I feel uncertain. Let that sink in. And another. I'm learning how important it is to let go of small worries. These sentences help you practice emotional listening, which is essential for advanced English. Now let's practice expressing small realizations. Sometimes the most advanced English comes from the simplest insights. For example, I realized I don't have to rush everything. Or, I noticed I think more clearly when I slow down. Or, I understood that rest is also part of progress. Try creating your own realization. Something true, simple, and meaningful. Now let's explore the language of appreciation. Talking about what you appreciate is a great way to practice emotional expression. You could say, I appreciate the quiet moments in my day. Or, I appreciate the people who support me. Or, I appreciate having time to learn new things. Appreciation helps your English sound warm, positive, and mature. Try expressing something you appreciate right now. Let the sentence come slowly, naturally. Let's try a small guided speaking exercise. Imagine someone asks you, what has been helping you stay motivated lately? This is a question that invites thoughtful, advanced English. You might answer, I've been staying motivated by focusing on small goals, or I'm motivated because I can see my progress, or I stay motivated by reminding myself why I started learning. Now create your own answer, speak it softly, and allow it to feel personal. Now let's move into calm storytelling again, but with a slightly deeper emotional tone. Think of a moment that challenged you recently. Maybe something unexpected happened. Maybe you felt tired. Maybe you felt nervous. Begin with a simple sentence. I faced a small challenge recently. Then add a detail. I had too many things to do at once. Or, I didn't feel confident about a task. Or, I wasn't sure how to respond to a situation. Then end with a reflection. But I learned something from it. Or, but I handled it better than I expected. Or, but it reminded me that I'm stronger than I think. This structure helps you practice advanced, thoughtful speaking. Now let's strengthen your listening again. Here's a natural sentence. I'm learning that my energy changes during the day and it's important to listen to my body. Pause. Repeat if you'd like. Another. Some days are slower, and that's completely okay. And another. When I let myself rest, I can return to my work with more clarity. These are the kinds of lines native speakers use in daily conversation, and training your ear with them helps you understand more fluid English. Now we'll practice future-focused English. This is a very important skill for advanced learners because it requires imagination and structure. Think of something you want to do soon. It could be a habit, a goal, or something simple you want to try. Start with, I want to. For example, I want to be more consistent with my practice, or I want to take better care of my time, or I want to try new learning methods. Now expand it with a second sentence, something like, because it will help me grow, or because I know it will make a difference, or because I want to feel more confident. Now let's shift to the language of calm honesty. This is one of the most powerful parts of advanced communication. When you speak honestly and calmly, your English becomes more natural and believable. You can practice with simple lines like, sometimes I feel unsure, but I keep going. Or, I don't always feel confident, but I try. Or, I'm still learning how to express myself clearly. These honest lines create strong emotional fluency. Try speaking your own honest sentence. Think of something real you feel about your English. Maybe something like, I know I can improve more. Or, I sometimes worry about speaking. Or, I want to become more fluent. Then add a positive second sentence. But I'm committed to improving. Or, but I'm learning every day. Or, but I trust the process. Let's move into a new practice style, emotional tone shifting. This means expressing similar ideas with different emotions. For example, the line, I'm learning something new every day can be said with excitement, with calmness, or with gentle pride. This teaches you how tone influences meaning. Try saying a simple sentence in your mind, like, I'm doing my best. First imagine saying it calmly, then with a little more hope, then with a bit of quiet confidence. Same sentence, different emotional color. Now let's deepen fluency with mental imagery again. Imagine yourself walking through a place you find peaceful. Maybe a quiet street, maybe a calm room, maybe a beautiful natural space. Describe one detail of that place in English. Something simple like, the air felt fresh, or the light was soft, or the space felt calm. This helps you build sensory language, which is an important part of advanced speaking. Now let's return to guided spontaneous speaking. I'll give you a theme and you speak naturally for a few sentences in your mind or out loud. The theme this time is what I'm trying to improve in my daily life. You might say, I'm trying to be more organized, or I'm trying to communicate more clearly, or I'm trying to take care of myself. Then add a follow-up sentence with a reason. Let it flow gently, effortless, natural. Let's finish this part with one last listening exercise. Listen to this sentence. I'm learning to trust the small steps I take every day. Now another. Growth doesn't always feel easy, but it's always worth it. And one more. I'm proud of myself for continuing to learn, even when it feels challenging. These lines help deepen emotional listening and expressive fluency. You're doing wonderfully, and we'll continue building this calm, confident rhythm in the next part. Let's continue moving through this session with a calm and confident flow. You're doing incredibly well, and now we're going to expand your speaking and listening skills even more by focusing on emotional clarity, natural storytelling, and deeper self-expression. These are core elements of advanced English, and the more you practice them, the more fluent and natural your communication becomes. Let's begin with a simple awareness exercise. Think about how you're feeling right now. Maybe you feel focused, maybe relaxed, maybe a little tired, maybe curious. Whatever you feel is perfectly fine. Try expressing it in one soft sentence. Something like, I'm feeling more present right now, or I'm feeling calm as I listen, or I'm feeling motivated to keep improving. This is how you build moment awareness in English, which is a key part of confident speaking. Now let's expand that feeling with a second sentence. You could say, because I'm learning at my own pace, or because I feel connected to the practice, or because I'm enjoying the process. Adding this second layer helps you build deeper, more meaningful English. It also helps you think in English instead of translating from your first language. Now let's shift into a listening exercise. I'll speak a few expressive sentences, and I want you to pay attention to the gentle flow, the emotional tone, the pauses. Here's the first sentence. I've been learning how important it is to give myself grace when I make mistakes. Pause, reflect, maybe repeat it softly. Here's another. When I slow down and breathe, my thoughts become clearer and my English feels more natural. Let that settle. And one more. Sometimes I forget how far I've come, but when I look back, I can see the progress I once thought was impossible. These lines help you internalize emotional fluency. Now let's practice expressing deeper thoughts. Think of something you've been reflecting on recently. It could be about life, work, relationships, goals, or even your learning journey. Start with a gentle line like, I've been thinking about how to balance my time better, or I've been reflecting on what brings me joy, or I've been trying to understand myself more clearly. Choose something real and simple. Then add a second sentence that gives your reflection meaning. You might say, because I want to feel more grounded, or because I want to grow in a healthy way, or because understanding myself helps me stay motivated. This combination of honesty and reflection is a powerful advanced English skill. Now let's practice everyday conversation patterns. These help you respond naturally in real interactions. Imagine someone tells you they've had a long day. A natural response could be, "I understand, long days can be draining," or "I'm glad you got through it," or "I hope you can rest now." These reactions show empathy and emotional intelligence, which advanced speakers use naturally. Practice your own supportive response now. Imagine a friend tells you they had a hard day. What would you say in English? Let it be warm, simple, and genuine. Now let's move into another storytelling moment. This time focus on an event that taught you something. It doesn't need to be dramatic. Advanced storytelling often comes from small experiences. Start with a sentence like, "Recently I had an interesting moment that taught me something important." Then add the action. "I was trying to finish something quickly, but I realized I needed to slow down." Or, "I was talking to someone and their words made me think differently." Or, "I was walking outside and something reminded me to appreciate small things." Then finish with a reflection. "And it helped me understand myself better." Or, "And it made me appreciate the moment." Or, "And it reminded me to be more mindful." This structure helps your English sound thoughtful and mature. Now let's practice descriptive language again. Describing small sensory details helps you sound natural and expressive. Think of something you noticed recently. Maybe a sound, a smell, a temperature, a moment of light. You might say, "The air felt cool when I stepped outside." Or, "The room felt peaceful in the early morning." Or, "I noticed the warm sunlight on my hands." These small sensory details deepen your fluency. Try describing a sensory moment from today. Keep it simple and warm. Now let's practice speaking about personal growth. This is a common topic in advanced English conversations because it connects feelings, experiences, and goals. You could say, "I'm trying to grow by becoming more patient with myself," or "I'm learning to manage my emotions better," or "I'm working on trusting myself more." These lines help you connect deeply to your English. Now try creating your own personal growth sentence. Think of something you've been working on. Then add a second sentence that describes how it feels. Something like, "And it's helping me feel more balanced." Or, "And it's giving me more confidence." Emotional honesty improves your fluency significantly. Now let's shift into a gentle humor exercise again. Humor is an advanced communication skill because it shows comfort and naturalness. You don't need anything big, just a small, relatable moment. For example, "I planned to be productive today, but my brain disagreed." Or, "I told myself I'd go to sleep early, but we all know how that usually goes." Or, "My motivation arrives slowly, like a lazy cat." Try making a small, soft, humorous observation of your own. Even something simple like, "I tried to stay serious, but my mind kept wandering." Humor adds warmth and personality to your English. Now let's work on future intentions again. Think about something you want to work on tomorrow, or sometime soon. Start with, "Tomorrow I want to," or "Next week I plan to," or "Soon I hope to." You might say, "Tomorrow I want to focus on being more organized," or "Next week I plan to try a new routine," or "Soon I hope to practice speaking with more confidence." Then add one reason. This helps you form structured, advanced thoughts. Now let's do a deeper listening exercise. Listen to these natural, conversational sentences that advanced speakers use. I'm learning to let go of things that don't help me grow. Let that settle. I feel more balanced when I give myself time to think. Pause. Breathe. I'm proud of how far I've come, even if I still have a long way to go. These lines help you build emotional comprehension. Now let's practice answering a deeper conversation question. Imagine someone asks you, "What have you learned about yourself recently?" Try answering naturally. You could say something like, "I've learned that I'm more resilient than I thought," or "I've learned that I need more rest than I realized," or "I've learned that I can stay calm even in stressful moments." Now try forming your own answer. Let's end this part with one more flow exercise. This time combine a feeling, an action, and a reflection in one smooth mini paragraph. Something like, "I felt a bit overwhelmed yesterday, so I took a moment to breathe, and it reminded me that slowing down is sometimes all I need." Practicing this flow strengthens your expressive fluency. Let's continue with the same calm flow we've built so far. You're doing an amazing job staying present, staying open, and allowing your English to grow naturally. At this stage of your learning, the most important thing is emotional comfort. When your mind feels safe and relaxed, your English becomes clearer, smoother, and more confident. So let's breathe gently together and continue building your advanced speaking and listening skills, one soft moment at a time. Let's begin with a grounding exercise. Think about something that has been on your mind lately. It doesn't have to be heavy. It can be something simple, like wanting more time for yourself, or wanting to improve your habits, or trying to balance your life better. Whatever it is, try expressing it in one calm English sentence. Something like, "I've been thinking a lot about how to organize my days better," or "I've been reflecting on what truly matters to me," or "I've been trying to understand what gives me energy." Let your sentence be honest and quiet. Now take that thought and add a second gentle sentence that shows why it matters to you. You might say, "Because I want to feel more peaceful throughout the day," or "Because I want to use my energy more wisely," or "Because I want to grow in a healthy, balanced way." This is how advanced speakers express deeper meaning without sounding complicated. Simple structure, soft emotion, natural flow. Now let's move into a listening exercise. I'll give you a few longer, natural sentences, and I want you to listen not only to the words, but also to how the ideas connect. Here's the first sentence. "I've realized that staying consistent is easier when I focus on small, realistic habits instead of trying to change everything at once." Take a moment. Let the meaning settle. You can repeat it softly if you'd like. Here's another. "When I stop comparing myself to others, I feel calmer and more confident in my own journey." Let that sentence land in your mind. And one more. "I'm learning that progress doesn't need to be perfect to be meaningful." These lines help you understand advanced rhythm and emotional nuance. Now let's practice expressing hope or intention. This is a powerful advanced English skill because it builds connection and forward-thinking clarity. You can start with phrases like, "I hope to," or "I want to," or "I'm planning to." For example, "I hope to become more confident in conversations," or "I want to practice listening more deeply every day," or "I'm planning to create a routine that supports my goals." Then add a second quiet sentence to explain why. This helps you build longer, more complete thoughts. Now let's shift into emotional self-awareness. This is an important part of advanced communication. Being able to express your emotional reality clearly and calmly helps you interact more naturally with native speakers. Try saying a line like, "Sometimes I feel nervous when I speak, but I'm learning to manage that feeling." Or, "I know I'm improving, even on days when I don't feel it." Or, "I'm trying to be kinder to myself while I learn." Emotional honesty builds strong fluency. Try expressing your own emotional truth now. Something simple like, "Sometimes I feel overwhelmed," or "Sometimes I doubt myself," or "Sometimes I feel proud of my progress." Then add a gentle reflection. "But I remind myself that growth takes time." Or, "But I'm learning to stay positive." Or, "But I keep going because I believe in myself." This type of emotional layering shows advanced skill and maturity. Now let's move into calm, everyday storytelling. Storytelling doesn't have to be long or dramatic. It can be quiet and reflective. For example, "Yesterday I took a short break in the middle of the day, and it helped me reset my mind." Or, "I had a small conversation with someone, and it made me realize how much my listening has improved." Or, "I noticed something beautiful on my way home, and it made me feel grateful." These small, real moments help you speak naturally. Think of your own simple moment from recently. Maybe a conversation, a break, a walk, or even a thought you had. Shape it into a peaceful sentence, then add a second sentence that expresses how it made you feel. This practice helps you speak with clarity and emotional depth. Now let's do a listening challenge. I'll say a more complex, natural sentence, and your task is to listen to the structure, the flow, the quiet pauses. "I'm starting to understand that when I take small steps every day, I make more progress than when I try to force everything at once." Listen again if you'd like. Now another one. "There are moments when I feel unsure, but I'm learning to trust the process instead of focusing on perfection." And one more. "I'm realizing that the more patient I am with myself, the easier it becomes to stay consistent." These statements help train your ear to advanced emotional English. Now let's practice reacting to situations. Advanced speakers respond with empathy, curiosity, or reflection. For example, if someone tells you something surprising, you might say, "Oh, I didn't expect that." Or, "That sounds interesting." If someone shares a challenge, you might say, "I'm sorry you went through that." Or, "That must have been difficult." If someone shares good news, you could say, "That's wonderful to hear." Or, "I'm really happy for you." These reactions help you sound natural and connected. Practice one reaction of your own now. Think of someone sharing something with you, maybe a success, a challenge, a surprise, and create a calm, natural English reaction. This skill is essential for advanced communication. Now let's shift to describing small habits or routines. This helps you organize your thoughts clearly. You could say, "I'm trying to take a few minutes every day to breathe and reset." Or, "I've been adding quiet moments into my mornings." Or, "I'm learning how to break my tasks into smaller steps." These sentences help you speak about your life in a clear, organized way. Try describing one small habit you want to maintain. Then add a second sentence that shows why it matters. This helps you form clean, expressive English structures. Now let's work on confidence-building language. You can practice lines like, "I'm trusting myself more with each day," or "I feel my language flowing more easily than before," or "I'm becoming more comfortable expressing complex thoughts." Using positive statements like these helps your brain relax into English. Try creating your own positive statement, something like, "I know I'm improving steadily," or "I'm learning at a pace that feels good for me." Let it be gentle and uplifting. Now let's strengthen your future-oriented thinking. Think of something you'd love to achieve in your English journey. Maybe fluency in conversation, maybe confidence in meetings, maybe the ability to express your thoughts with ease. Shape that dream into one sentence. Then add a second sentence that shows your commitment, something like, "And I'm determined to practice consistently," or "And I know I'll get there step by step." This is how advanced speakers express vision and purpose. Let's close this part with a final listening exercise. I'm learning to trust that the effort I put in today will create the fluency I want tomorrow. Let that land gently. Every moment of practice brings me one step closer to confidence. And one more. I'm proud of myself for continuing this journey, even on the days when it feels challenging. These sentences help strengthen your emotional and linguistic awareness. As we move into this final part of your advanced English practice session, I want you to stay with the same calm, grounded energy you've been practicing throughout this lesson. You've done so much already. You've listened deeply. You've expressed emotions. You've told gentle stories. You've reflected on your habits. And you've shaped your thoughts into clear, natural English lines. All of these skills together form the foundation of true advanced speaking and listening. So let's continue building this final layer with quiet confidence. Let's begin with a gentle check-in. How do you feel right now? Are you more relaxed than when you started? Do you feel more connected to your English? Maybe you feel a bit proud of yourself, or maybe a little surprised at how calm and natural the practice has become. Try expressing that feeling in one soft sentence. Something like, "I feel more connected to my English now," or "I feel calmer and more confident," or "I feel grateful for this practice time." Any emotion is completely okay. The important part is expressing it gently and honestly. Now let's expand that emotion with a second sentence. You might say, "Because I can hear my progress," or "Because the practice feels more natural," or "Because I'm trusting myself more." When you connect your emotions with your reasons, your English becomes beautifully expressive. This is what advanced speakers do. They communicate with clarity and emotional balance. Now we'll move into a listening exercise designed to strengthen advanced comprehension. Here's the first sentence. I've realized that the more I pay attention to the small moments in my day, the easier it becomes to understand myself. Pause. Breathe. Maybe repeat it softly. Here's another. I'm learning that communication isn't just about speaking, it's also about being fully present with the person in front of me. Let that settle. And another. When I allow myself to slow down, my English becomes clearer, warmer, and more natural. These lines help you understand subtle, emotional rhythm. Now let's shift into a reflective storytelling exercise. Think of a moment from this week that taught you something about yourself. It can be the simplest moment. Maybe you had a quiet evening, or a deep thought, or a conversation that stayed with you. Start with one gentle line. This week I had a moment that taught me something important. Then describe what happened. I was feeling stressed, so I took a break and stepped outside. Or, I was overthinking something, and then I realized I didn't need to worry so much. Or, I was talking to someone and their words changed my perspective. And finish with a reflection. And it reminded me to be more gentle with myself. Or, and it helped me see things more clearly. Or, and it showed me how much I've grown. This structure helps you express depth in a calm and advanced way. Now let's practice clarity and intention. Advanced speakers often use language to organize their thoughts and guide their actions. You can practice sentences like, I want to be more intentional with my time, or I hope to create a routine that supports my goals, or I'm planning to make small changes that will help me grow. Now think of something you want to improve in your daily life. Shape that thought into one clear sentence. Then add a second sentence that explains why it matters. This helps develop focused, elegant English. Now let's move into another listening challenge to strengthen comprehension. Here's a natural, expressive sentence. I've learned that confidence doesn't appear suddenly. It grows slowly through consistent practice and small moments of courage. Let that settle. Another sentence. There are days when I feel uncertain, but I remind myself that every learner feels this way. And one more. I'm beginning to understand that language learning is as much about understanding myself as it is about understanding words. These longer, deeper sentences help your brain process advanced emotional English. Now let's practice emotional transparency, something advanced speakers do naturally. You can try simple lines like, I sometimes feel overwhelmed, but I'm learning to take things one step at a time. Or, I occasionally doubt myself, but I know I'm improving. Or, I feel proud of myself for continuing to learn. Try creating your own emotionally honest line. Let it be simple, soft, sincere. Now let's shift to expressing gratitude. This is a beautiful way to practice emotional English. You can say things like, I'm grateful for the small moments that make me feel peaceful, or I'm grateful for the people who support me, or I'm grateful for the progress I've made. Try expressing one thing you're grateful for, even if it's small. Gratitude helps expand your emotional vocabulary and strengthens your connection to the language. Now let's do one more storytelling exercise. This one focuses on imagination, which is great for fluency. Imagine a moment in your future where you feel fully confident speaking English. Maybe you're having a conversation easily. Maybe you're traveling. Maybe you're expressing your thoughts without hesitation. Describe that future moment in one gentle sentence. Something like, I imagine myself speaking confidently and naturally. Now add one more sentence expressing how that moment feels. And the feeling brings me a sense of calm hope. Or, and it encourages me to keep practicing every day. This imaginative storytelling builds powerful internal motivation. Now let's do a deeper listening practice with emotional nuance. Listen closely to this line. I'm learning to appreciate the slow and steady parts of my journey because that's where real growth happens. Let the meaning settle. Another line. Sometimes I forget how strong I've been, but when I look back, I can see every step I've taken. One more. I'm proud of myself for continuing to show up, even on the days when I feel tired or unsure. These sentences train your brain to understand subtle, advanced emotional English. Now let's practice answering a deep, personal question. Imagine someone asks you, "What are you most proud of in your learning journey?" Try answering naturally. You could say, "I'm proud of how consistent I've become," or "I'm proud of how patient I am with myself now," or "I'm proud that I haven't given up." Now create your own answer. Let it be honest and warm. Now we'll close this session with one final guided reflection. Think about where you started. Think about how far you've come. Think about the fact that you're here, practicing, growing, improving, and choosing to develop your English every single day. That alone is something to be deeply proud of. Try expressing one final line about your journey. Something like, "I'm proud of myself for continuing this path," or "I'm grateful for every step I've taken," or "I believe in my ability to grow." Let it be gentle and true. And now, as we end this long and powerful practice session, I want to speak to you directly. You've shown focus, patience, strength, and dedication. Your English is growing because you're choosing to show up for yourself. Your confidence is growing because you're learning to trust your voice. Your fluency is growing because you're practicing with intention and heart. I'm proud of you, truly. And I want you to remember that your journey matters. Your progress matters. And you deserve to feel confident in your communication. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and keep moving forward with this same gentle confidence. You're doing wonderfully, and I'm honored to be part of your learning journey. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the bell icon so you don't miss future lessons.